Because at the time, OTF was never mentioned.
Right.
He's the first one that made any type of anything that OTF was involved by saying, I guess they can't say they didn't slide for bond no more. It's like
Wack 100 and Adam22 speak on Bricc Baby's potential involvement in the Lil Durk case. This is Fresh Hip-Hop Opinion with your guy Alize. Don't forget to subscribe. So, yes, we've all heard the news, people. Lil Durk was arrested for murder for hire after trying to get revenge on King Von's life being taken after Von got into an altercation with Quando Rondo. It's alleged that Durk got members of his OTF crew to fly from Chicago, Chi-Town, and carry out the hit. The most damning bit of evidence is that he used OTF related credit cards to book everything, rental cars and hotels. But the rumor out there on the streets is that Bricc Baby was involved or at least knew about it, and that's why he's come under fire. And like I said, Wack 100 and Adam22 were speaking about it on the Adam and Wack show. Check out this first clip.
So I don't really see how Bricc was demonstrating that he had any kind of insider knowledge.
she's saying that Bricc was the first ones.
To put the narrative out there.
You can call it a narrative or you can call it a tip. Because at the time, OTF was never mentioned.
Right.
He's the first one that made any type of anything that OTF was involved by saying, I guess they can't say they didn't slide for bond no more. It's like, it's a violation. This podcast thing has crossed his wires. Some things you do not say.
Bricc has got photos hanging out with Durk a couple years back. That makes that's what made everybody
tied
say,
to the
yo,
streets.
what the yeah.
At the time, Quando claiming 6-0. He was too confident in what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? He was too confident, and it was like, Bricc need to just like go in the pot. I challenge Bricc to stop saying on the dead homies, on Hood, and on 6-0. Because if he can wing himself from saying these things, then he could convert his mind into like, he's a podcaster and then know how to separate one from the other. He comes here in full gangbang mode like he talking to the homies and ain't understanding you talking to the world. You on a big platform talking to the world and it gets out there. And some things, him coming from where we come from, where he come from, you just can't do that. You just can't do it. But from how he's saying it is like, he got the call. He knows the inside scoop. They got at him because he like, y'all can't say OTF didn't slide for King Von. What you talking about? And then he names the situation. Now, you got the people saying, well, this dude's a known gang member. He ran with these people. Okay, well, let's look over there.
Yeah, fam. Wack is basically saying that Bricc is saying too much information. When Bricc said what he said on No Jumper, nobody was even looking at OTF. Nobody was looking at Lil Durk's involvement. They believed the story which was saying it was a drug deal gone bad. And like Wack said, the way Bricc said it so confidently as if he really knew the information makes it sound a bit suspicious. But is Wack correct? Yeah, I mean, Bricc is going on a big platform like No Jumper and speaking about street business, speaking about a case that somebody lost their life and is now pointing out someone else that potentially did it. Not the smartest move. And obviously we all know that Bricc has an open Fed case. I believe it's a weapons charge as well. And what makes it worse for Bricc Baby is that Quando Rondo was affiliated with 6-0, and that's the same crew that Bricc is down with. And like Adam22 said, there's pictures of Bricc Baby and Durk together, like they're cool. I mean, a picture is just a picture. As celebrities, they take pictures all the time, so it's not the most damning thing in the world. But it's just not a good look. But in this next clip, Wack 100 shows a bit of sympathy for Bricc Baby and gives some sound advice of what he should really be doing. Check it out.
Bricc will never return back to gangbang life.
If you're mid-late 30s, it would be a pretty big step back to be like, you know what, I'm fully.
And he has
back
done
in
a
this
few
shit,
things and been exposed about a few things that it wouldn't be wise and smart and safe for him to just go back to that 100% completely. He got to reprogram his mind, because that is going to get louder and louder as this case gets bigger and bigger.
But honestly, that clip is not him really like revealing any kind of insider information just to have his back on this. He's not really saying anything beyond what realistically a lot of 16-year-old white kids were probably saying on Twitter and Instagram that day as well.
16-year-old white kids aren't bona fide certified gang members in the streets of Los Angeles,
Right.
that's tied to the actual group that you are talking about. You got Bricc photos, what's happening. This dude really from his neighborhood in a different state, and he like, they can't say they didn't slide, as if he knows that that's what that was about. It's different, bro.
Yeah, fam. See, Wack 100 isn't all bad, people. He ain't just this big industry bully. Bruiser, looking to fight and troll. He sounds very sincere. He's basically saying that Bricc needs to pull back with the street talk when he's on live, which is kind of common sense. He's always saying on the dead homies, on 6-0, and when he gets exposed as lying or something that doesn't look quite right, it's just not a good look. Wack is pretty much saying he's too affiliated in the streets, or trying to be a street guy, but also trying to be a podcaster. And you can't do both. You can't be a street gangster for real and also be a commercial podcaster on a huge platform like No Jumper. And to be fair, the clip that Bricc Baby said all this stuff about the OTF case or Quando Rondo case, it was a couple years ago. In that time, he's had a few issues with speaking about street stuff online. So he's probably improved a lot on that. I don't even hear him say all that 6-0 and on the dead homies as much as he used to. But you know what? He still says it a lot, and it's just a habit. I think it just comes out naturally for him. But there's talk out there that Bricc might be brought into the case. He's not in the indictment or anything like that. He's not in any paperwork. But there's still a few rumblings about him being involved in the whole setting up of Quando Rondo. And obviously we know Quando actually threw down his blue flag after this incident. So you know there was some sort of link between the two. Whether it was Bricc Baby involved, we don't know. But that's what Wack 100 and Adam22 had to say regarding Bricc Baby potential involvement in this whole Durk situation. But you know what, guys? I want to know what you think. Leave a comment below, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. This is Fresh Hiphop Opinion. Peace and love.